Assalamu alaikum. Welcome you all in this lesson on single blood circuit. Unlike double blood circuit, in single blood circuit that we find in fish, they just have a two-chambered heart, a two-chambered heart. So you can find it here. They just have one atrium and they have one ventricle. So they have one atrium and they have one ventricle. While in those animals where we find a double blood circuit, like mammals, humans, aves, that's birds, and crocodiles, you will see they have two atria instead of one, and they have two ventricles instead of one. But here we find there is just one atrium and one ventricle. So that's why this circulatory system, we also call it single circulatory system that we find in fish. Let me write it. So we also call it single circulatory system. So this single circulatory system that we find in fish is relatively simple compared to the double circulatory system or double blood circuit that we find in mammals, uh, aves, and crocodiles. Uh, there you have a four-chambered heart, but here there is just a two-chambered heart. Now see, so this is one difference. Second, you will find that uh, this atria doesn't matter whether the heart is two-chambered or whether it is four-chambered or whether it is three-chambered. The function, the job of the atria is to receive blood. So here, this atrium essentially receives uh, deoxygenated blood, the blood which is deficient in oxygen, or you can say which has got very little oxygen. So this is deoxygenated. So it receives deoxygenated blood from the body of the fish. Now, when this deoxygenated blood comes into atrium, it is now pushed into the ventricle. From ventricle, it is pumped to the capillary networks of the gills, where this uh, blood, which is deficient in oxygen, where it picks up oxygen, uh, or we can say it gets oxygenated there. Let me erase this first. We don't need this. Okay. So it gets oxygenated there. So oxygenation happens in the gills where it picks up oxygen. And now this blood which flows in this artery is essentially oxygenated blood. It's no more deoxygenated. It picked up oxygen from the gills, so it is oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood from gills only is pumped around the body to deliver oxygen to the cells. And the cells use oxygen to release energy from glucose, which they use to carry out their activities, carry out their cellular processes. Now, here, this single blood circuit is different from double blood circuit. In double blood circuit, what we see that when blood goes from heart to the lungs for oxygenation, from there only, it's not pumped around the body. It comes back rather it comes back to the heart, and it is the heart which actually pumps it around the body. Okay, but here the other thing happens. The tail is different. From gills only, when the blood picks up oxygen, it goes around the body to deliver oxygen. It doesn't come back to the heart. So the blood actually comes to the heart just once, just once. That's why the name single blood circuit. That's why the name single. Okay, single blood circuit or single circulatory system. The blood passes through heart just once. So the blood essentially comes to the heart so that it is pumped to the gills, to the capillary networks of gills for oxygenation, to pick up oxygen from the gills. Uh, and then the oxygen is delivered by the blood, which goes around the body from gills only, uh, so that they use it to release energy from glucose. So that's why we call it single blood circuit. So in this respect, it is different from double blood circuit, where the blood passes through the heart twice. Here it passes through the heart just once, and that too, deoxygenated blood passes through the heart. Okay. Uh, at the same time, we must also remember that this appears to us very relatively simple, and undoubtedly this is relatively simple compared to double blood circuit. But this single circulatory system of fish is well adapted to the ecosystem, to the environment in which fish live. And you all know that fish live in water. They live in water. And their bodies in water are supported by the water, and the energy requirement of fish, especially in locomotion, uh, is much less than vertebrates of the same size that live on land or live in the air. Okay, so that's why the oxygen which fish require for their activities, okay, is less compared to the vertebrates that live on land, the vertebrates which are terrestrial rather than aquatic. So fish being aquatic require less oxygen, okay, compared to their to the other vertebrates which are terrestrial, which have the same body size. So we can conclude that we can have this takeaway that although the this single blood circuit, the single blood circulatory system uh, is relatively simple, but it meets it meets the demand of oxygen. It meets the demand of oxygen, which these fish, okay, whatever demand, whatever requirement they have, this relatively simple circulatory system, this single blood circuit, which they have, it fully meets, it well meets their demand, their requirement. Okay. Uh, thank you. If you have any question on single blood circuit, so you are free to ask in the comments.